to Monsters in Mascara, and today is Spooky Saturday. Woo! That was supposed to be a ghost noise. Not very good at ghost noises, clearly. So today, my first Spooky Saturday, I'm going to tell you all about Borley Rectory. Now, the reason why I've chosen this one is a couple of reasons. Number one, it's close where I used to live, and I've actually been there myself. And secondly, it is considered the most haunted house in England. So, without further ado, I am going to do my makeup. I'm going to talk to you about Borley Rectory, and we're going to see how this goes. If you like it, hit like, hit subscribe. If not, okay, that's alright. You do you. So let's crack on, shall we? Oh my god, it's snowing as well, by the way. What a great December. Oh gosh, what's going on here? Hang on. Let's try and get this in properly. And then we can go. Ready? Right. Okay. Let's start. So, our story begins. The Borley Rectory was built in 1862 for the rector of Borley Parish and his family. The Reverend Henry Dawson Ellis Bull was the one that actually commissioned the building of Borley Rectory, and about a year after he commissioned it and it was built, he was then named the rector of Borley Parish, and he moved in, basically. The newer building was actually built on the grounds of the old building, which had burnt down in a fire in 1841. But Bull had commissioned it to be built larger because he had 14 children. Obviously, clearly, there was no TV. Someone must have been bored. And he was a reverend as well. I mean, Anywho, so here we are. We're in 1863, give or take. So the first paranormal event that was actually reported by the locals in about 1863. They had said that they'd heard footsteps with no reason. They just heard footsteps. Sorry guys, I hit the desk. Anyway, they heard footsteps. And then we jump forward to July 1900, and 4 of Bull's daughters claimed that they saw a nun around twilight, about 40 metres or so from their house. So they tried to walk towards her and talk to her, but as they got closer, she disappeared. Oh my god, the nun disappeared. So, Ambrose, a local organist, was quoted saying that the family were very convinced that they had seen apparitions on multiple occasions. So, spooky, haunted. Woo! Woo! Right. Anywho, various other witnesses over the next 4 decades had claimed to have seen puzzling incidences. Your guess is as good as mine. Some of the incidences that they had claimed to have seen were phantom coaches being driven by 2 headless horsemen. Pretty sure there's a film about that. Sleepy Hollow, is it? Anyway. So, after the death of Henry Bull, which, if you go back a few moments, you will remember him to be the fellow that commissioned the new place, and he was the current rector. After his death, and then his son, Harry Bull, inherited his title. He also died. So we've gone through 2 generations here now. After both of them had gone from this world, the rectory was vacant in 1928. So the rectory was vacant up until 1928, when Reverend Guy Eric Smith and his wife moved in. Now, not long after they'd moved in, Mrs. Smith, she was there cleaning the cupboards out. As you do, move into a new house, you want to clean it up a bit, don't you? You don't know who's been in there. She's cleaning the cupboards out, and she comes across a brown paper bag. And she's like, Well, I would guess she's like, why is there a brown paper bag in here? There's something inside it. Let's have a little look. What does she find inside the paper bag? Well, let me tell you. The skull of a young woman. Don't know how they would have known it was a young woman, but apparently it was the skull of a young woman. So, skull, paper bag. I'd have been freaked out. I don't know about her, but I'd have been like, okay, let's go. But no, obviously not. So not long after the incident with the skull in the bag in the cupboard, more incidents were reported to have been happening. More strange happenings were going on in this little house. Like, the servant's bell was ringing, even though it wasn't connected. How was the bell ringing? It was ringing. There was unexplained footsteps going on. You'd be a bit worried. People are walking around your house. Unexplained footsteps and lights appearing in windows. So, bit sus really, isn't it? But here we are. And Smith's wife, Mrs. Smith, we're back at her. We're still on her. She then claimed to have seen the same horse-drawn carriage at night. Who is this horse-drawn carriage? Who are the headless people? What are they doing? We don't know. We don't know. I wasn't there. I doubt you were either. If you were, tell me how it goes. Let me know. But anyway, I digress. So, then, in June of 1929, a paranormal investigator by the name of Harry Price comes to check it out. He's like, what is going on? He's a bit like, this is cool. Let's go and check this place out. There's some strange happenings. I'd like to find out some more about what's going on with these strange happenings. And immediately after he arrived at the house, new paranormal events started happening. I know what you're thinking. Was it him? Let's find out. So he arrives, he gets there, he's like, let's check this out. What's occurring in this place? And apparently, after he arrived, stones started to be thrown, vases were being thrown, various other objects were being thrown around. There was like spirit messages, as they call it, being knocked out on the edge of mirrors. I would assume it's something like Morse code, maybe. I don't know, but this stuff started happening. I'm just as sus as you are. What have you been doing here, Harry Price? What are you doing? We shall find out. Not long after, well, pretty much as soon as he then left, after he'd finished his investigation, they stopped. The new things that had been happening, so the stones, the vases and the tappings, all stopped. I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same. What has he been up to? Clearly he's been doing things he shouldn't be. But here we are. Smith's wife then goes on to say that she believes that Price had been basically having him on. He'd been making it up, apart from the bits that she'd obviously really said that she'd seen. But since he turned up, all these extra things were happening, and she was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. I mean, I know it's like, it's the 1920s. I don't think people were as like, oh my god, paranormal, as they probably were back in the 1800s, because, you know, people were a bit like, a bit more witchcrafty, a bit more ghosts and stuff. There's a lot of cool ghost stories from that time. I've got to tell you, a lot of cool ghost stories from that time of year. Anyway, back to the point. Then in July of 1929, the Smiths then moved out. I would. If weird stuff was going on, I'd be gone. I wouldn't be hanging around like these people did. No. Gone. Then, in October of 1930, Reverend Lionel Algernon Foister, what a name, He was the first cousin of the Buggles. You remember them? They were the one that rebuilt the house. He was the first cousin of them. He then moved in with his wife Marianne and their adopted daughter Adelaide. So we're now 1930 October time, right? So they move out, new people move in. What's going to happen? Well, let me tell you what starts happening now. At the time of them moving in, Foyster sends a letter to infamous Harry Price, the paranormal investigator. You know the guy, him. Sends him a letter detailing accounts of paranormal happenings that have been going on in his house. You're thinking, why would you go back to this guy? Maybe he doesn't know that about the previous time that he was there. Maybe he doesn't know that the Harry Price has been falsifying paranormal happenings to get more readers. I don't know. So in this letter that he sent to Harry Price, he says that he has been hearing bells ringing, which, you know, we've had that one before. Footsteps. Windows shattering. Bottles and stones being thrown at the windows. And Adelaide was also locked in a room with no key. So, how did that happen? How did Adelaide get locked in the room and there was no key? You're thinking the same as I am. I'm like, Marianne told her husband that she'd been thrown from her bed while she was sleeping by an unknown force. And then Adelaide came in and said that she was attacked by something horrible. What attacked you, Adelaide? What is going on in this place? Borley Rectory, guys. So, after Adelaide had then told her dad that she'd been attacked by something horrible, Foyster decided that he was going to perform some exorcisms because, you know, that's the reasonable thing to do. So he tries to perform 2 exorcisms. Both fail. I don't know what you believe what you want to believe, but anyway, both of these exorcisms fail. But apparently, during the first exorcism, a stone the size of a fist was thrown at his shoulder while he was conducting the exorcism. So, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking, maybe you shouldn't be living in this house, you know? Maybe you should go somewhere else. Maybe you should find a less creepy place to live in. But who am I to judge? What do I know? I didn't live there. I've been there, but I didn't live there. But personally, as soon as weird stuff started happening, I would have been gone. I'd have been like, nah. As much as I appreciate you wanting me to be rector of your parish, no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. And I'd be on the first train back to wherever it was that I came from. And I'd be gone. I won't be there. Price is obviously like, he's getting stoked about this. So he came, when he went, he also brought with him a reporter from the Daily Mail. So this reporter and Harry Price went, and they was like writing loads of articles about Borley Rectory and how it was haunted and all this weird stuff was happening. And then with Foyster, he was saying like all this stuff's happening. So it attracted a lot of attention. A lot of attention came onto the place because that's like so many people saying that haunting's happening and all this weird stuff, and people have been thrown from their beds. And crazy time. So, as I was saying, this was drawing a lot of attention, especially from psychic researchers. Not paranormal, psychic. Psychic researchers. They were like, what's going on here? Let's get in on some of this business, you know. Everyone's talking about this place. We need to see really what's going on for ourselves. So the psychic researchers came in, started having a look about. They were researching this case, and quite a few of them turned around and unanimously said that either consciously or unconsciously, they believed that actually it was Marianne that was causing a lot of these phenomena. Why would Marianne do that? Does that seem like something that you would do? I mean, What's going on? Marianne? What? So they're suspecting Marianne. They're like, yeah, you're doing this. This ain't really paranormal. This is you. You're creating this. And then later on, Marianne comes clean and she goes, I was actually having an affair with our lodger. His name was Frank Peerless. She is having an affair with him. And she didn't want to get caught. She didn't want to get in trouble. So she used the phenomena to basically give her an excuse for her affair. Extramarital activities with the lodger. So, what do you think? I mean, obviously, at this point, she, the previous tenants, the previous rectors, had obviously had all of their goings on, and she obviously wasn't there at that point. But do you think that she's made it seem worse than it was? Or was there really something going on? Was there nothing going on? Like, what is the sitch? I don't know. So then sometime later, in March of 1938, a séance was conducted. Not in Borley, though. No siree. It was not conducted in Borley. It was conducted in Streatham, in London. And you're like, what's that got to do with the price of fish? Streatham's nowhere near Borley. Like, what? So the séance was conducted by a lady who was actually one of Harry Price's assistants, the paranormal researcher that was like making stuff up. That guy, you remember him? Apparently she had a séance in Streatham. Yeah, so we're in Streatham. We're having this séance. It's reported that during this séance that this lady was having in Streatham, nowhere near Borley, that she made contact with two spirits. Yeah, two. And you were like, again, what has this got to do with the price of fish? One of these spirits that she supposedly connected with was a nun, a French nun, who had claimed that she had left her convent in France and given up her religious being or standpoint and moved to England to marry somebody from the Waldegrave family. Now, the Waldegrave family were the original owners of the 17th century manor house in Borley before that one was destroyed. And so, yeah, you're thinking, well, people are seeing nuns, maybe this is true. But apparently, she was said to have been murdered in one of the outbuildings, which was then the ground, which is now was the grounds where they built the new Borley Rectory. Yeah, the one that the Bull built in like 1860 something. I can't remember what I said now. Anyway, so she was murdered in one of the outbuildings there. But it was said that it was said that either her body was buried in the cellar, or it was put in an unused wall. Now, if you're a spirit and you're dead, would you not know where your body was? Like, you'd know what's happened. Well, I guess you'd be dead. That's a question, really, that, I put to you. What do you think? Is this a load of BS? I don't know. But we will continue. And the wall writings that had occurred when Marianne was around, apparently read, Marianne, please help me get out. And apparently that was pleas from the nun for help from Marianne. And this was all information that was taken from the séance that was conducted in Streatham by somebody that was Harry Price's assistant. I don't know about you, that sounds a little bit sus to me. I don't know, maybe I'm just another paranoid person, but to me that doesn't sound like it's very legit, really. Don't know about you, but So, we have the Bull family who rebuilt the rectory and moved in. And then they had criminy. They had reports of footsteps, seeing the headless coachman, and seeing a nun. Well, his daughters did anyway. And then the Smith family moved in, and she found the skull of a woman in a cupboard. So I'm thinking, where did that skull come from? Like, why did the Bull family not find it? Did they not look in the cupboards? Did they not use the cupboards? I don't know. Maybe it was them. Maybe they murdered someone. Don't know. And then the Smiths move out, and then Marianne and Adelaide move in, and then weird stuff starts happening. But then it comes to light that actually Marianne was cheating on her husband, so she was using this as a cover-up. So what's going on? I don't know about you, but this seems to me like there's a lot of snaky stuff going on here, and I don't really personally think that this is all kosher. She's saying that, you know, she's making it up, really, isn't she? Just so she could have an affair. Now, I don't know about you, but that just seems a little bit suspicious to me. It just seems a little bit odd, a bit off. But then, so yeah, this is what happened. And then eventually, in February of 1939, the rectory actually ended up burning down, mostly because the owner at the time was moving in, unloading his stuff, and knocked an oil lamp over, and it spilt everywhere, burnt the house down. And then there was an investigation done by, like, the insurance people, and the insurance people believed that it was a deliberate fire. They didn't actually pay out any money, so there's not really much information about why the fire, why he did it, but he did it, and it happened. So let's recap. As I said, we know that one family had seen things. We know that another family had seen things, found some skulls, and then the latest family was proved that actually the mum was just a little bit of a sleaze, really. Oh, Marianne, just a little bit of a sleaze. So now, I've been to Borley myself personally. I've had a look. Like I say, I used to live nearby, so I've been there. There's not much of it left, really. It is an attraction. A lot of people, I think they do tours sometimes around it. But personally, I went there because, you know, used to live near there. There's always the stories going round, and people are like, oh yeah, go at night and stuff. So, you know, teenagers, we go together. And it was weird when I went. It was creepy. Like, something wasn't right. I didn't feel at ease. I felt really on edge. And like, just something wasn't right. Now, I don't know if that's because I've gone in with the preconception of the fact that it's supposed to be one of the most haunted places, and obviously living near the area of where it is, you hear all like the stories and stuff, and all the locals have got stories saying that they hear this, that and the other, or whether it really truly was something creepy is going on there. What do you think? Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe that Borley Rectory could have been something like that? Now, I can't talk while I do my lips. Let me just skip past this bit. Yeah, there's got to be something else out there afterwards. I mean, I have had my experience. I believe in ghosts because I have had an experience, which I'll tell you if you want to know, maybe. So my granddad's house still lives there, you know, was built. The houses, so basically there was a monastery there back in the 1700s. The monastery got knocked down, and then 3 cottages were built there. like fishermen's cottages, and then they all got knocked together into one large house, and then my granddad and my nan bought the house, and so they bought they moved in when my mum was like 4, so you know, I'm 26, like they've lived there for a long time, and I lived there. I mean, I've used to stay there quite regularly when I was a little girl, but I also used to live there as well. I lived there for a few years as well. You know, times get hard and stuff. And you can hear footsteps walking down the hallway, like the upstairs landing. And, sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate. So you can hear footsteps. They go from the landing. They walk down the landing, and then down the first few steps, and then they stop. I've heard that many times, many times, and you're thinking, oh, is just someone moving around the house? No, because there was one time where it was just me and my granddad in that house, and I was still awake, and my bedroom used to be downstairs, and I heard somebody in the hallway, and I heard footsteps coming downstairs, and then nothing, and I thought, oh, it was just granddad getting up, going for a wee, because the bathroom is opposite his bedroom, which is right at the top of the stairs. So he gets up the next morning, and I say, oh, Granddad, did you get up in the night? He's like, no, didn't get up once. Who was it then? Because it weren't me. I was in bed. Weren't me. And also, this is another freaky experience that I had once in the house. So I'm in my bed. I'm actually asleep. Okay. Oh, don't stick it there. And something wakes me up. Like, you know when you just wake up and you think something is not right here. So I wake up and I hear, so my bedroom is downstairs just off like the dining room kitchen, and there's like hard floors there, and Grandad's got like an old school wooden table and old school wooden chairs, and didn't want to stitch that, I'll try again. So yeah, and when you move those chairs across the floor, they make a distinct creak and scraping noise. And so I was laying in bed, and I woke up in the night, and then all of a sudden I hear this squeaking noise. I'm just having a bit of an issue with this one, okay? So I hear this scraping noise, like somebody's just moved a chair, and I was like, what the fuck? Because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, there's nobody else downstairs. Grandad would be fast asleep, you know, he's in his 80s. He ain't coming downstairs at 3 o'clock in the morning and moving chairs about. It don't happen. And then I feel like this really weird feeling, and I look in the corner, and there's this big dark shadow, and I could not. I couldn't move. I was like stuck in my bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't make a noise. I couldn't move my arms. I was like just stuck in the bed, and it started to come closer and closer to me, and I was freaking out. And then all of a sudden I could move again, and it disappeared, and I shit my pants. I was like, fuck this shit. What can I do? It's like, okay, we're giving up with this eyelash. I can't be bothered. It's not sticking on. Obviously I'm having some difficulties. We'll go back to that, so I'm just gonna like one eyelash weird it, okay? So yeah, that happened, and I freaked out. So this is my opinion. I think ghosts are real. Borley Rectory, I've been there, and it was weird. We walked around, it was creepy. I didn't want to stay there, and like I just felt uneasy and unnerved. So what do you think? Do you think Borley Rectory is really haunted, or do you think it was just a load of codswallop made up just to get people to the area? Like, what do you think? So guys, this is my first Saturday. I'm not really sure. I fancy doing something green, and this is kind of what happened, you know. I'm not professional. If you want to try and recreate this green look I've got going on, I will list all the products that I have used in the description. But otherwise, tune in next Saturday for another spooky Saturday, and I will tell you another creepy story about a haunted place. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet, but if you have any suggestions, drop them down in the comments. Anywhere that you want me to talk about specifically, or anywhere close to you that I can research, that would be pretty awesome. And on Tuesday I'll have another video about just generally about makeup, but Saturdays are our spooky ones. So have fun, guys. Hopefully I'll see you again soon, and keep safe, you know, the usual stuff. Happy Christmas. Bye.